Money Monday, we're showing you how to cut costs on grocery delivery services. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Oh, happy Monday, everybody. Can you believe it is already the 137th day of the year? I saw that stat and I was like, wow, this year is just flying by.
Don't they all anymore?
And the weather is just starting to get good. We have a nice warm week coming up. Matt's going to join us in just a few minutes with the latest on your forecast. But in the meantime, that's Jay Crawford. I'm Betsy Kling. Thank you for staying with us for the next hour.
Yeah, great to be with you again. Good afternoon to everyone at home. Betsy, good afternoon to you as well. We start this week off with some good news. Today, President Joe Biden announced that for the first time since the pandemic, nearly 14 months ago, cases in all 50 states, Betsy, they're going down.
Finally. And while he did warn that progress could be reversed, especially in states where not as many people are getting vaccinated, he was optimistic on our country's progress so far.
By tomorrow, 60% of all American adults will have received at least one shot. Look what we've done. Look what we've done, America.
Well, the Biden administration is pushing for 70% of U.S. adults to get at least one dose by the 4th of July. Here in Ohio, almost 43% of Ohioans have received at least one of those doses.
So Ohio is way behind the national vaccination average, 60% rather nationally, 43%. And I'm sure that had something to do with the fact that Governor DeWine started this Vax a Million lottery. And now there are new details on entering for a chance to win one of these 5 drawings, each one for $1 million. This process will begin tomorrow. There's a website that you can actually go to make sure you're registered. And this is all a change from the info we had last week. Remember last Friday, the word was if you'd been vaccinated, you didn't need to do anything.
You're in.
Well, that's changed now.
Yeah, we are certainly hoping that, everybody has a chance to get registered. And, their 5 winners will be announced next week. That's the first of those 5 winners that will be announced next week. But we have a lot of questions, obviously, the big change that's taking place. So we go now to senior health correspondent Monica Robbins. So, Monica, how will the Department of Health know if an entrant has been vaccinated?
Well, that's when you enter the contest, and you only need to enter one time. One time will last you through all 5 drawings. You're going to allow the Ohio Department of Health to access your vaccination records to verify that you've received that vaccination. You may also be asked to provide your vaccination card for verification as well.
All right. So as we are, the gamblers here in the state of Ohio, does this money come in a lump sum? Can it be taxed? Everybody wants to know these details. And also we have that scholarship opportunity that's out there too. Can you tell us a little bit more about all that?
All right, let's unpack this. If you win the million, yes, it comes in one lump sum. And yes, you will be taxed on it, just like any other lottery winning. As for the scholarship, now the College Advantage Direct Savings Plan, they're going to manage the money until the winner actually needs it. Now, while there is no tax liability on qualified tuition and related expenses, there could be tax liability for room and board. But remember, this isn't just for a 4-year college school.
In the amount of the qualifying expenses for in-state tuition, books, and room and board for a 4-year program, 2-year program, community college program, or technical or trade school.
Ooh, that's a good thing. I mean, if you want a job, trade schools are where it's at right now. That is a very promising career path and one that hopefully a lot of those kids will be taking advantage of. All right, we found out that just a few minutes ago, Governor DeWine officially issued new health orders that better follow the CDC guidelines. He talked about it earlier today, too. So what's this newest and latest?
Well, basically, Betsy reiterated that Ohio's mask guidance will follow the CDC directives. So those who are vaccinated do not need to wear a mask unless traveling on public transportation or visiting a business that requires mask. Those who are unvaccinated are strongly encouraged to get the shot, and they need to continue to wear a mask in public situations. Now, keep in mind, though, all of Ohio's health orders are going to expire on June 2nd, so a lot of this is going to be moot in just a couple of weeks.
And I do also want to reiterate to folks, if somebody is wearing a mask, don't tell them, hey, we don't have to wear those masks anymore. They know they have the mask on for a reason. Let them do their mask and don't judge. So easy peasy.
Everybody needs to be very kind during this time. You're exactly right.
Lots of understanding. Thank you, Monica. Great insight as always. Jay?
First up on your feed at 5, this is a live look at Cleveland's Lakefront. It is one of our greatest assets that we all love. If you came downtown at all for the NFL draft, you probably noticed it looked and felt more vibrant than ever. Now, there is a plan to keep that feeling alive. Romney Smith joins us now with details on what makes this current plan different from the many plans that we've seen in the past that obviously were never adapted. Hello, Romney. Good afternoon to you.
Hey, Jay. Good afternoon. This plan is different because it's not just the city of Cleveland. It's also the Haslams, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, getting behind the project and giving it support. Now, the goal is to connect all of the gems downtown, like First Energy Stadium, where the Browns play, the Science Center, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the waterfront to make one big cohesive space that's attractive and easily accessible. Take a look at these renderings. It shows a really wide land bridge for pedestrians that will connect Mall C, one of the biggest green spaces downtown, to the lakefront. The plan is pretty massive, and it would be a multi-year construction project if it's approved and funded. This afternoon, the architecture firm that worked on these renderings presented the idea to the Cleveland City Council Finance Committee. The city filed an application just last month with ODOT to secure $6.5 million to move forward with engineering expenses, which is phase 1 of the plan. City Council President Kevin Kelly tells me he has a really good feeling about the request for funding.
Whenever I think about applications that are in with the state, and why we should have a leg up is that, we generate so much income for the state to their general fund that they need to really prioritize, the urban centers, especially the city of Cleveland, in terms of, making sure that our economic activity keeps going because the state's got an interest in that.
Keep in mind, if this project is approved and funded, it would take years to come to fruition because they have to go over railroad tracks, build out the entire plan that includes green space, an expanded waterfront park, new mixed-use buildings, a parking garage, and more. Jay will know if the proposal for money was approved in August.
All right. I guess these things move very slowly. That's one thing we've learned through the years. Rom, those images are fantastic, but I'm sure they come at a very, very steep price tag. How much is this going to cost?
Yeah, you're right. It has a 9-figure price tag of $229 million, and that's the early projection if they stay within budget, and we all know how construction projects are.
Yeah, they rarely do. $229 million. All right, Romney Smith, live on What's New. Romney, thanks. Betsy, you and I talked about how great the lakefront looked. This was that area really north of the stadium and right there on the shoreline. It looked amazing. Now we have data that's in from the draft. Analytics company STR shows that visitor numbers across the 3 days during the NFL draft, and they were, as we expected, amazing. 26 hotels boosted their performance across 4 zip codes to a 523-day high. An average daily rate of around $208 per room at an 85% occupancy level. So as we expected, it brought a lot of money to town.
It actually was wonderful timing in that it really showed the country, and in many ways the world, Cleveland as the first big place to come out. And we had well over 150,000 people over 3 days, all doing it in a safe and distanced way.
Now, those pictures are still just amazing. We're also expecting to learn more about Cleveland's economy very soon. We're awaiting Destination Cleveland's economic impact report for 2020 to be released. That could come at any time. Gilbert added, it gave our city something strong to build on. And let's hope the NFL draft was the spark that the city needed to realize just how great that lakefront property is and what it can become.
Yeah, it's a lot more than just a parking lot, right? I think people are finally going to get a little bit more access down there on the lakefront, too. So lots to come on that, certainly. And lots to come for Cleveland, because Cleveland is going to continue to shine in the national spotlight this week. On Wednesday, Lester Holt will be in town for nightly news across America. He will focus on sharing stories of how our region is overcoming the pandemic and adapting for the future. Now, that is this Wednesday at 6:30 right here on 3. Well, it was a rough start to the season at Cedar Point. Thrill seekers giving mixed reviews as they experienced extended wait times, some rides not yet even open, and it appears that staff shortages may have been the main cause of some of the problems. Brandon Simmons has more on the issues seen over the weekend.
Whether you're a first-time visitor,
we spent 4 hours there and we only got 2 rides in,
or a long-time season pass holder.
It's really crowded. I've never seen it that crowded in all the years that I've been going to Cedar Point ever.
There were several people unhappy about their opening weekend experience at Cedar Point. A 3 News viewer sent us pictures and videos. Several rides weren't open, lines for food were abnormally long, and even certain restrooms unavailable.
There was a few things that weren't open because they were understaffed.
A Cedar Point spokesperson acknowledged in an email the company is, quote, not immune to hiring challenges, end quote. It's a problem so many industries are facing. In general, expanded unemployment benefits pay more than many entry-level jobs. Parents still have issues figuring out childcare, and many are shifting which industries they decide to work in, making it difficult for places like Cedar Point to employ adequate staff. In that same email, Cedar Point told us they've increased wages, added a $500 sign-on bonus, and created dozens of full-time year-round positions. Still, it's not enough to satisfy some guests.
Yeah, it wasn't the best experience.
To be fair, there were plenty of happy thrill seekers too. On Facebook, Vicky Napier posted a thank you to Cedar Point workers saying, it is busy, it is short-staffed, some things aren't running, but I can say this year was very enjoyable for my daughter and I, adding heart emojis in the end. For those who weren't satisfied like Vicky, Cedar Point says it's adjusting its operations to make the guest experience better. I'm Brandon Simmons, 3 News.
All right, let's hope it gets better by this weekend. Next on What's New, curbside grocery pickup skyrocketed during the pandemic, but are you really saving money with all the extra fees? Next up, Danielle Serino explains how to cut your costs on these delivery services.
And Netflix's show Bridgerton is getting a spin-off. We'll have all the details ahead in Pop Break.
And let's say our first hello of the week to Matt Wintz. Matt, it looks like we are off to a pretty good weather week.
Yeah, hey, not too bad. Bridgerton's getting a spinoff, but there's not going to be anyone inside to watch it with this kind of weather. Boy, it's just gorgeous outside today. The clouds are actually very welcome for a lot of people because you don't have the bright sun to deal with, but still nice temperatures. Those nice temperatures make it for a beautiful evening to head outdoors for your dining forecast. We're in the 70s. We've got some clouds, but boy, does the heat and humidity return this week. I'll talk about the forecast, obviously, coming up on the other side of the break.
It is Money Monday here on What's New, and like so many things, the pandemic changed the way we shop for groceries. About 43% of shoppers used online services last year, and many say they're going to keep on using them even after the pandemic, despite the increased costs. But there are ways to cut your bill significantly. Here's consumer reporter Danielle Serino.
Grocery shopping doesn't get much easier than this. Sure, you'll pay a little more, but for Teresa Sweeney, who's tried every delivery service, it's still a deal.
We don't impulse buy as much online. You're not entering a store hungry, or suddenly you smell everything and you're like, oh, that smells so good. Now I need a pack of cookies.
And she knows the tricks to really save, like buying a subscription. For $10 to $12 a month, there's no minimum purchase for free delivery. Some services give extra discounts on items, including the membership cost, according to shopping site Deal News.
They like to cut like up to 50% off their annual membership sometimes. I know we saw it back in November. They dropped to $50 a year.
To really get a bang for your buck, use the service for more than groceries. Some service drug, beauty supply, and household goods stores. And make sure to sign up for emails to get coupons or other discounts. You can also cut costs by searching the site for promotions and sales. Just like in-store circulars, there's a section for deals. And if they're promoting a particular item, buy it, and you could get free delivery, even cash back.
They are trying, of course, to entice you to buy new things, novel products that have come out. So those items sometimes will have really big rebates.
You can also find promo codes that offer all kinds of savings. If you don't have a membership, don't order during peak hours.
Just like with your rideshare apps like Uber and Lyft, some of these programs will charge surge pricing or busy time pricing, they might call it. And it's basically, Sunday evenings, if they're getting a lot of orders, those delivery costs might go up.
You definitely want to use cashback apps and browser extensions. With Ibotta, Fetch, and Checkout 51, you'll earn money just for shopping. Fetch will automatically scan your email and give you points for gift cards if you shop at their affiliates. And they all work even if it's curbside pickup, which of course is a cheaper option.
So sometimes you're stacking 2, 3, 4 apps at a time and again, it can be a significant amount of money back.
Teresa says these tricks save her about 35% on every purchase.
There's so many different places out there that you can go to save money on pretty much any purchase that you can imagine.
Another tip? Comparison shop. Create free accounts on all the delivery services to see which has the best deal or even which app has a bigger rebate that day on the items you need, because the delivery and service fees are pretty much the same. There's information on all this on our website. I'm Danielle Serino, 3 News.
You just said it, Jay. It's a lot of work.
This is a whole lot of work.
It takes time to save money. That is the one thing.
35% off just about every item, she said. I mean, that pays for itself, I think.
But then you got to comparison shop and know which one to go.
It's like a full-time job.
Yeah, it's not exactly a slam dunk for a lot of folks, unfortunately. But sometimes it's certainly worth it. You know what else is worth it? Patience. Because if it isn't too much, I would just like to remind everybody that 8 days ago we got over an inch of snow. 8 days.
Right.
It seems like it's a long time from now, but it's 8 days. So I think that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it definitely is, Betsy, for sure. I didn't know if you're going to me or if Jay was waiting to do word of the day.
Jay is waiting. He likes dramatic pauses.
Yeah.
Well, I thought for sure. I mean, it seemed like that was something Matt needed to respond to, but I'll let you do that in the forecast. It is hard to believe it's been 8 days. Matt, your weather word today is coupon. It goes off our last story. I'm old-fashioned. Clip, get the coupon, go in the store, use it, drive it home myself. Call me crazy, but that's my world.
Yeah. I won't call you crazy. I'll call you other things, Jay. Not crazy, though. But I know you're waiting for that Sunday paper to come rolling. So you can get those scissors out for sure.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's funny when we've been doing the grocery delivery and when we're checking out, it says, have you forgot to purchase this? And I'm like, no, I don't need that. And then you end up spending just as much because you're like, maybe I could use some chocolate bars anyway. We'll get to the forecast. Temperatures today, obviously very nice outside. We are very habitual creatures in terms of the temperature, right? We're very climate controlled, so we like the 70s. Most of us do, and that's exactly where we are right now. A little bit of a lake breeze setting up today, but overall not too bad. We've got some high clouds floating through. We also have low cumulus clouds. You can see both of them moving different directions. All in all, we'll call it partly cloudy skies right now. That rain, if you joined me last night, I was saying how we'd have a brick wall holding this rain back. The rain has tried to make it into our area. It has not, and the reason why, we've got some pretty decent dry air at all levels of the atmosphere right now. But look off towards the west. It is very unsettled across the Plain States. There's a series of low pressures, none of them organized, but all of that is going to try to make it east into this high pressure, and that high pressure is going to be with us all week long, and that is going to set up a dome of heat down into the southeast that'll expand, and that's where your heat and humidity comes from later on this week. National Design Mart Hour by our forecast. We're going to keep the high clouds tonight, so we'll go partly cloudy, temperatures in the 50s, still very comfortable. Tomorrow we'll have veiled sunshine, as Russ Mitchell likes to call it. Sunshine with some high clouds. Temperatures a little bit warmer, though. We should make it up into the mid and upper 70s by afternoon, and then as we get it into our Tuesday night, a little bit warmer. We'll only settle back into the upper 50s as that warming trend continues. Wednesday's where it really starts a little bit. There'll be a warm front moving through. That could trigger an isolated shower or thunderstorm, but temperatures on Wednesday will head into the 80s, and watch this ridge develop. It looks like Mother Nature was saving the warm coupon over the last week and a half and is finally using it, because, boy, this sail is going to be huge in terms of this heat developing down to the southeastern half of the country. That dome will expand over northeast Ohio Thursday, Friday, before finally breaking down over the weekend. We've got some humidity coming with it as well. It's not going to be really humid around here, but you're certainly going to start to feel the air by Wednesday, and then again on into the weekend. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. There's the climb up into the mid and upper 80s by Thursday and Friday. Next real chance of rain outside of some isolated thunderstorms with the heat and humidity really arrives Saturday, and then especially Sunday and Monday next week as that ridge starts to break down. But Betsy, you mentioned it. It was just snowing around here in spots, and now we're dealing with the heat. You just stick around in northeast Ohio, and you know the next week obviously brings something markedly different.
Of course, the other consistent is that people complained when it was snowing. They're going to complain when it's 88 degrees too. So it's the way we deal with it, certainly. All right, Matt, we'll check in with you next half hour. Coming up for us, how Jaden Smith is revving up his resume from actor to restaurant owner. Details how he plans to help others in Pop Break.
Then a nice play, not by a player, but by a fan in the stands at a baseball game last night. We're going to show you what happened. It's quite the play. It's our Worth the Watch, and it's next.
Oh. Welcome back, everybody. We have some breaking pop news to share. People magazine is reporting that singer Ariana Grande and real estate agent Dalton Gomez have tied the knot. Her representative didn't say when it happened, but did confirm it was a very small and intimate ceremony with less than 20 people. Congratulations to them. Now here's Kira Cotton with the rest of today's Pop Break.
When we launched, I didn't know that our show was going to have the impact that it had.
After 7 seasons and more than 150 episodes, the hit show Blackish has announced its end. Show creator Kenya Barr shared the news on social media alongside a video of the cast reflecting on the history and impact of the series. In the caption he wrote, "None of this would have been possible without our audience and supporters who have championed the show every step of the journey, allowing us to change not just the narrative of Black families, but of family, culture, and the world in general." The popular show starring Tracee Ellis Ross, Anthony Anderson, Marsai Martin, Yara Shahidi, and so many more, first premiered in September 2014. And a Bridgerton fan favorite is stepping into the spotlight. Over the weekend, Netflix announced that it's expanding the Bridgerton universe with a limited series about Queen Charlotte. According to the streaming platform, the show will tell her origin story and also feature a young Violet Bridgerton and a young Lady Danbury. There's no word yet on when production is set to begin. And Jaden Smith is adding restaurant owner to his resume. According to reports, the 22-year-old artist, actor, and philanthropist plans to open a restaurant in LA where the homeless community can receive free meals. The restaurant will be modeled after his I Love You food truck initiative that has been providing healthy vegan meals to people on Skid Row for nearly 2 years. Explaining the concept in an interview, he said, "If you're not homeless, not only do you have to pay, but you have to pay for more than the food's worth so that you can pay for the person behind you." Jaden is really working to make the world a better place. For him, it's all about giving back and paying it forward. Back to you guys.
All right, Kara, thank you very much. Well, we've all had some pretty distracting moments on cell phones, right? No different than at this baseball game last night between the Angels and Red Sox in Boston. That was the Angels' Luis Rojas losing the grip of his bat at home plate. The bat went sailing over the netting right into the stands. When the guy on his cell phone snagged the bat, watch it again, he doesn't even take the phone off his ear. Watch, here it is. Bat flying in, gets the bat, maintains cell phone contact, and then does the proper thing and hands the bat to a lady a few seats down.
Wonder how that conversation went.
Yeah, you watching me? I'm on the game right now. In fact, that was me that just caught the bat that went flying into the stands. Pretty fun.
Well, the Indians are in LA tonight to play the Angels. It's very exciting. They lost over the weekend. We'll catch up with them coming up in sports at 6 with Jimmy. Well, next on What's New, we're helping clear up some confusion about masks and the new CDC guidelines. The new list of places who've lifted their masking policies.
Plus, what's new with the child tax credit impacting nearly 40 million families come July. Details on why you may want to opt out.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Caught up on 3 things you need to know at 5:30. You can sign up for a chance to win $1 million from Ohio beginning tomorrow. In order to enter, you must have at least one of your COVID doses. You'll sign up at ohiovaxamillion.com. You only need to enter once, even though there will be 5 drawings. This is an opt-in only. Last week, the info was you didn't need to opt in. They've changed that. You need to register, so go to the website tomorrow. If you don't want to take part, you don't have to, no big deal. You have to give the state, though, the state health department, access to check your vaccination records to make sure you are indeed vaccinated.
And the city of Cleveland and the owners of the Browns will apparently be working together to redevelop Cleveland's Lakefront. They presented their plan. The goal is to connect First Energy Stadium, the Science Center, the Rock Hall, and the waterfront. The renderings show a land bridge for pedestrians to connect Mall C to the lakefront. If approved, it would take several years to complete. The project could cost $229 million.
And Cedar Point's opening weekend was a rough one. Visitors say some rides were shut down or had long wait times, and many concessions were not open. Others found closed bathrooms and understaffed areas. Cedar Point says it is working through some hiring challenges. Sounds familiar. And they promise to work with guests to make things right. And with that, we welcome you into the second half hour of What's New on this Monday afternoon. Along with Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford. Betsy, I know you went to Kelly's Island Saturday. How'd your first visit to Kelly's go?
Born and raised in Northeast Ohio, never had gone to Kelly's Island.
It's something, isn't it?
It is so cool. It's kind of the toned down islands version, right? So, you know, a lot of people think Put-in-Bay. This is much more family friendly. Went to see the glacial grooves. Now, I know a lot of people probably don't have that on their bucket list, but me, I thought that was super cool. Definitely a must see. If you want pictures of it, I did put it on my Instagram and my Facebook because I loved it so much, but definitely a really cool opportunity with the family and visit some beach time, do the whole thing.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun.
Definitely. Well, we have 2 top talkers to discuss today. We're going to break down how the new child tax credit will work in just a minute. But first, let's talk about masks. There has been a lot of confusion over where you have to wear a mask and when. On Thursday, the CDC announced that fully vaccinated people don't have to wear a mask at most places. Then just a few moments ago, Governor Mike DeWine officially issued new health orders for the state to adopt the CDC guidelines. He announced he would do so on Friday.
So today he clarified those guidelines, saying schools, daycare centers, and medical centers should still require masks until the health orders lift on June 2nd, after which time they can make their own decisions. Also, this is important. It is up to the business owners to decide whether or not they want their customers to wear masks. If they want you to wear a mask and you want to enter, you will have to wear a mask, even though these orders are in place. We've already seen some major retailers lift their mask mandates for fully vaccinated customers. So far, that list includes Walmart, Costco, Starbucks, Target, Trader Joe's, and CVS. There is some concern for kids who can't get vaccinated. Data shows 4 million kids have contracted the virus. 300 have died of COVID. The chance of being hospitalized is very slim, less than 1% per child.
And experts say if you can wear a mask around kids who can't get vaccinated, then that is the right thing to do. And, you know, as a mom of little Violet, who is 6, she can't get that shot yet. I don't want her to get sick. Chances are she'll be just fine if things, if she were to come down with it. But, you know, I'm not really willing to roll the dice on that so much. So, you know, I don't know, it's a really tough decision, and it's hard to throw shade on people for following rules that they were given and ask people to be courteous, because we know not everybody likes to be courteous.
No, you know, it's been incredibly polarizing, the whole issue of whether or not folks should wear masks. Some people say follow the science. Other people say you follow the science when it's convenient, but then not all the time. Just understand this. Let's all be patient. Let's be kind to one another. We're getting close to this, far closer to the end than to the beginning. And one day soon, this will just all be a bad memory that's in our rearview mirror. That's the hope. Well, the new changes to the child tax credit also have many families talking on this Monday. 39 million families will start getting monthly payments in July. It's part of the expanded child tax credit program that was in the American Rescue Plan.
Now, the credit is normally received annually as a tax refund. So now instead, it will be distributed monthly. Now, the maximum payments for each child increased from $2,000 for the year to $3,600. Starting July 15th of this year, families will get up to $300 for each child under 6 years old, and up to $250 for each child 6 to 18. The goal is to reduce child poverty by giving monthly payments, and some families may choose to opt out because of these reasons.
They rather get at year end a big lump sum than spend little monthly amounts now, and they'll think they'll get rid of it and wind up with nothing. They're worried about paying it back if they calculated something wrong. You know, what if they get it and they spend it and the IRS says you owe us it back? Then, you know, they're in a bind.
Yeah.
It's so confusing. It is so crazy confusing how this is all rolling out. So just know this, if you do want to opt out, you're going to have to opt out through an IRS portal, which hasn't even launched yet. Monthly payments will go through the end of the year.
Yeah, that's important to note, too. Some people have heard this and think that it's going to go on in perpetuity. No. It's through the end of this year. The amount you get per child is based on your income. Increased amounts are phased out for married couples that make more than $150,000 per year and individuals making more than $75,000 per year. If you have questions, ask your tax person. That's the best way to do it. Still ahead on What's New, a local teacher is keeping Judy Resnik's memory alive, how the NASA astronaut is still inspiring kids today.
Then, happy Taco Week, Cleveland. We're here to tell you where to find the best deals around town. That's coming up in Clicking in Cleveland. And this week, Save Our Sauce is taking us out east to the Shaker Heights Larchmere area. It's become quite the food scene over the years, and Kindred Spirit in the Van Aken district is one of the newest additions. The chef describes the menu as West Coast energy with influence from the Mediterranean. Check out this place and more from our Doug Tratner at WKYC.com/Save Our Sauce.
Here. Those are
Oh, today is one of those days I'm really glad folks at home can't hear all the discussions that happened during the break.
Oh, no.
Oh my goodness, so much to talk about, certainly. And you know, Matt, I know that you have a lot going on behind you there. The kids are up in the tree house and running around outside. Everybody is really getting out and enjoying this. Keep in mind, though, the humidity is going to start to go up, and that's going to be a bit of a game changer for us.
Yeah, and Betsy, I've gotten to know a lot of people through the running community locally here in Cleveland, and you know, us runners care a lot about the humidity as well, and it's been so great because you're not sweating a whole lot when you're running, and that's going to change this week for all the runners and as we certainly bring in a little bit more summer. 33% of those kids are mine. The other 2 are neighbors. So if they do anything they're not supposed to, that's on the neighbors. Let's talk about May heat that's on the way. You know the warmth's coming. If you haven't seen the forecast yet, it's going to get warmer this week. Our average first 90-degree day in the Cleveland area isn't until June 22nd. Why do I say that? It doesn't look like we're going to hit 90 this week, but boy, there is a chance. In 4 out of the last 5 years, we've had our first 90 in May. We've had warmer stretches in the past as well, but this is certainly one that is coming our way this week, and it's going to feel notably different around here. Tonight, though, no problem. Still comfortable. We're falling back into the 50s. You notice how the clouds come and go. Overall, a pretty peaceful and quiet night outside. There is rain close on radar, though. You can see a lot of that shrinking in coverage. There's a lot of dry air in place. So this rain has tried to move in, and it's basically evaporating and kind of getting torn apart by the drier air. But what we're left with are the clouds that you see, and that's really going to be the case over the next 5 to 6 days. We're going to have quite a few clouds rolling in from time to time off of all that unsettled weather you see out in the plain states. But that high pressure off the East Coast is going to put up a fight, and it is really going to keep everything at bay as the pattern kind of gets stuck in place as we have a big blocking pattern take shape. These are the upper levels. This is a jet stream, the driver of our weather systems. Look at this ridge of warmth that bubbles up in the eastern half of the country, all courtesy of the trough out towards the west. What goes down must come up. It's like a teeter-totter, and boy, does it get warm, not just for us, but the entire eastern half of the U.S. before that ridge breaks down, likely sometime earlier next week. The reds, as those expand, those are your above average temperatures. Notice we go from right around average now to 15 to as much as 20 degrees above average across the eastern half of the country. Your National Design Mart day-by-day forecasts here. Watch how this ridge over the next couple days really tries to keep us dry. There'll be ongoing showers and thunderstorms riding up and around that ridge towards our north. Eventually that will sink back in here as we get into the latter half of the weekend and next week. But in terms of rainfall, we could spark a couple isolated storms around here, mainly centered on the lake breeze later this week. But overall, we're going to stay dry, and we could use the rain again, folks. I know we just dried out, but your Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast does keep us mainly dry. The heat comes back with upper 80s in the forecast. And Jay, you know, lawns and gardens looking pretty good after that latest soaking. But if we add the heat compared to the 2 to 4 inches we are below average, we could start to see some brown lawns around here by next week.
Yeah, let's hope not. Boy, you hate to start watering this early, but we'll do what we have to do. Matt, thanks. See you soon. Right now, let's check in with our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. She's here every Monday through Friday to tell us what's clicking in Cleveland. Hi there, Steph.
Hi, Jay. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday to everyone at home. Today, we asked all of you what you think of the Browns' plans to develop the lakefront down by the stadium. Overall, the people who responded support it, but they do have some concerns, like this person who says, overall, it's a good-looking plan, but not if the people get strapped with higher taxes to pay for it. Now, others say developing the lakefront is long overdue, and they're happy to see a plan, but one viewer likes it in theory and is skeptical if it will actually happen. And there are some alternate suggestions, of course. Scott thinks the Haslam should put a retractable dome on the stadium instead, and this sports fan wants the Tribe playing down by the water too, along with the casino. Now, speaking of the future for that area, the rock concert, the stadium tour, has been postponed again. The joint tour with Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts is now pushed back to July 14th of 2022. The bands are saying this was the only way to play all of the dates for everyone who already bought tickets, and to hang in there because it will be one for the history books. Now, originally scheduled for July 3rd of 2020, that makes for more than a 2-year wait. It is a killer lineup, though. And it is Cleveland Taco Week again. Now through Sunday, you can get $2 tacos at 15 places in the CLE. That includes Barrio, Blue Habanero, and Salt Dough. You can download a Taco Week passport, linked to WKYC.com, and if you collect 5 or more stamps this week, you have a chance to win $250 in gift cards, and you get extra entries if you post using the hashtag Cleveland Taco Week, Jay and Betsy. So here's your warning. Cleveland Instagram will be a very dangerous place if you are hungry this week. You've been warned.
Yeah, very good.
Tacos are delicious.
Every week is Taco Week in my world. Every week.
This Tuesday will be extra
I love
special.
tacos and I love them cheap.
Yeah,
There you
they're
go.
even
Yes.
better. All right, Steph, thanks.
Well, still ahead on What's New, we're going to show you how Akron teachers and students are keeping astronaut Judy Resnik's memory alive 35 years after the Challenger explosion.
Then, in our Show Us Something Good, a hairdresser is credited with more than giving a good haircut. How she potentially saved a woman from going blind. And as we head to break, here's a little something to make you smile. I want you to meet Minnie and Hallie. The two are best friends. Minnie is always there to cuddle Hallie, play with her, and of course, give her puppy kisses. Hallie's dad told us they kept telling Minnie, baby's coming, baby's coming. And when they brought her home, Betsy, their bond was immediate. And you will not see cuter pictures today. I promise you that.
That is so great. Well, so many of us will never forget the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster and the loss of 7 astronauts 35 years ago this year. And of course, that includes Northeast Ohio native mission specialist Judy Resnik. But all these years later, students at the schools that she once attended still honor her and say they continue to learn from her example.
When they first taught me about her, I was really inspired, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm walking in the place where a real astronaut was walking.
I just really hope that we can keep sharing her amazing story and showing kids that they can do what they want to do, and I feel even more inspired after learning about her. to go for it.
Here in Akron, a legacy of strength, smarts, and determination is not forgotten. Judy Resnik was a trailblazer, an engineer, a pilot, and only the second female American astronaut in space. 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Her story cut tragically short by the Challenger disaster 35 years ago.
Flight controllers here looking very carefully at the situation. Obviously a major malfunction.
But her memory lives on in the voices of students from the very same school she once attended.
No one can tell me that I'm just a girl and I can't do that.
And I just remember the sadness of that moment. But I didn't want to focus on the sadness. I just wanted to focus on what an incredible person she was.
I can do anything.
Music teacher Kim Shamahanna wrote the song Full Throttle Up, which has become a tradition in the Akron Public Schools, especially at Judith A. Resnik Community Learning Center, the elementary school named in her honor in 2006.
It's kind of a good opportunity to introduce them to her and let them know why her school is named after her.
Full throttle up, all systems go.
But on this anniversary year, a tribute concert would have to be held virtually, of course.
This whole COVID situation, I wanted our kids to still be able to perform. So I downloaded a program for video editing.
It's one thing to hear the words and kind of process the words, but it is a completely different experience when it is the voices of children who are singing those words. And it's so emotional.
I won't be left behind.
It touches me to hear them singing it. It is truly a blessing.
The students we spoke with say they love singing the words that honor their hometown hero.
Well, I like the part, it's kind of like between the middle and the end. It goes like, dance upon the moon, sing among the stars. I like that part.
My favorite part of the song is Never Heard of Limits, because it's like nobody could limit her or she can't limit herself.
Their teachers do too.
I really like the who I am as a soul of a poet and a curious mind. I think I kind of identify with that a little bit too.
A lesson in one woman's courage and inspiration that still rings true all these years later.
You know, down the road, do you think that this is going to have an impact on you in the way that you think about things?
Maybe if I become the pilot, then it could tell me that I might be scared to fly for my first time, so I can't limit myself.
Basically, it's just really inspiring, and it tells you that you can do anything. You're not held back.
Full throttle up, all systems go.
I think that is such a cool tribute to her. You know, being from Akron, it's a really big deal. Her name is just very well known, very, very well respected, and she is remembered in the hearts of so many. We're so proud to have had her in Akron, and just the fact that we continue to shine a light on her legacy is a really big deal. And I have a feeling she would be pretty cool with the way the kids have interpreted, you know, no limits. I think that was one of the more resounding threads of the conversation, as the kids just really understood that there are no limits and they can do anything. They can go anywhere.
35 years later, that she's still an inspiration to kids that weren't born yet, and it speaks well of her legacy, and I'm glad that the flame still burns on, and her name carries a lot of weight in that area, no doubt.
35 years. A lot of folks remember exactly the moment they found out that happened. Yep. So everybody talks about that still. Well, next on What's New, how a hairstylist forever changed her client's life by speaking up when she noticed something a little out of the ordinary.
Then coming up at 6 on What Matters Most, putting an end to robocalls. Wouldn't that be nice? How to stop getting scammed, and what feels like never-ending calls continuing to creep up on all of us. Details on what you can do now.
closed. Bathrooms are closed. Good. I'm sorry, you couldn't hear me? Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check 1, 2, 3. Brandon's microphone, talking Cedar Point. We're talking about long lines, all types of issues. Oh, no, it's not showing up. Wonder what's going on there.
Mic check, Monica. Oops, hold on. Sorry.
There we go. Check there. Does that sound better? Check 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Thanks for.
Mic check, Monica. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, hello, hello.
Just want to remind you guys, it is Cleveland Taco Week, and that's what I'm planning on for dinner.
Our Show Us Something Good comes from Kentucky. Kathy Stovall asked her hairdresser to keep an eye on this bump that she noticed on the back of her head. After a few months of haircuts, Megan noticed that it started to grow. Kathy went to the doctor and learned she had a giant mass on the back of her head. Luckily, the tumor was benign, but had it gone on much longer, it could have impacted her optic nerve and possibly left her blind. Her doctors say they're lucky they found it because it looked like a normal skull. Now, Kathy and Megan, as you can imagine, bonded for life.
And then to go through this with her, I mean, it's forever, like, just life-changing. I mean, she will always be just, I mean, October 31st literally will always be a day that I'll be like, thank God for me, you know? Yeah.
Kathy's still getting used to her new look. She's now rocking the short hair, salt and pepper look. Looks good. She's back to being a mom, a wife, and back to work.
Well, we would love for you to tell us your good news by using the hashtag GoodNewsCLE when you post online with your pictures and videos. You can also share what's good with you through the WKYC app using that Near Me feature. Just tap on Near Me at the bottom right corner of the app and it will tell you what to do from there.
Pretty neat. We're out of time. Back tomorrow at 5. Hope to see you then.
What Matters Most with Russ and Romney starts right now.
Now it's this, a shot to win.
Begin.